Alright, welcome to the second edition of the LAMIS NMRS migration. In our first video, we were launching the URL that would eventually land us on this page. So we continue off here for the second edition. Alright, so after doing this, at this point, what we'll be doing next would be the setup for the NMRS database for use. Okay, so you may want to log into the software. You've chosen your username, of course we know the username and the password, and then you will need to choose a location, perhaps Nigeria MRS Development Center, and then you log in. Okay, so with this we can go back to, it takes us to the home page. And then remember that our username is admin and password is admin123, so we may want to do that admin and admin123. Select your location as this and then log in. Alright, so once this loads, it takes us to the home page where we'll start our configuration, and then here we are. Alright, so to set this up, go down to System Administration. Click on that. When it opens, you select Advanced Administration, and then that will take you up to this page. Go down to Maintenance, select Settings, and it will take you to the interface where you could set up the database for this facility. Alright, here we are, and also in my migration folder, a set of files that bear some information. That's entry facility list and a couple of others. So this bears the name of the facilities that we're working with that we would want to impute in that page. So a couple of facilities, for instance, I may just pick one of them, which is what I'm going to have to do. Okay, so let's go. Alright, so what we'll do is fill in this information specific or peculiar to the facility we are configuring and click Save. With that, we are done with this setup at this point. Then, in order to view the migrated data on NMRS, we will need to build search index. By that, we just need to go back to admin and then go back to maintenance. Under maintenance, you have search index. Click on search index and then allow it to load. Once it's fully loaded, you come down to rebuild search index and click on that. Allow it to rebuild completely. Alright, so rebuilding search index is completed, and so with this we are good to go to the next level. You can click on home and then log out. But this time I'm logging out so we could try to log back in and check if and see what happens, or perhaps what next we are going to have to do. So admin is my username and admin123 is my password, and of course this is where we'll have something else to do. We need to come down here and see our facility, the facility we just configured as one of these lists or the only one item on this list, and then select Start. So how do we do that? We'll go back to our query and run a query to change the facility or the location name to the facility we're looking at. So let me go back to our Tomcat, what's it called again? Our Navicat. Okay, and write some strings. Alright, so here we are with the string, updates location, and these are highlight it and run. Okay, so this is okay. It's affected one row, so we are good to go. I would simply have to go back and log out and try to log back in and see if this is affected, and then just come here and refresh my page and put my username admin and put my password admin123 and check my location name, and lo and behold, my facility is here. I select the facility and log in. Right here, I'm back in my facility. Alright, so with this we are done with the setup for NMRS for each of for this particular facility. The next thing I want to do is to set up the PBS configurations for a smooth run on the NMRS. Alright, so what do I do next? We would go, let's visit our SOP and see where we start off from. Of course, we know the requirements. So based on our SOP, we will deploy our USB libraries. And so how do we do that? First, we would identify the OS architecture of the system we are using. If it is, for instance, this is 64-bit, so I'll just go navigate to the syswow64 location in my C drive, copy the directory, and set up my environmental settings to point at that folder. Of course, what we know what we're doing is to try to point our environmental settings directory, to point it to the directory where we have the x64 folder for our migration files. So of course I'll need to copy the x64 folder, which is in my migration folder. Where's my migration folder? Okay, right here for PBS. This is the x64 folder. I'll have to copy this to that location, and that location is in Windows. That's syswow64. Open it, and I'll dump my I'll dump the folder here. That's the x64 folder, and this is, I'll open this. This is the directory that I will point my environmental, that I would configure my environmental settings to point at. So I'll click on this, go to environmental settings, and go to path, double click on path, and then create a new path which would point at that directory. And I'll say OK, OK, and OK. We are done with this at this point. The next step, we want to also reference our SOP. Okay, so the next step is to install and configure biometric services. How do we do that? We'll need to copy the NMRS biometric deploy to any preferred directory. Of course, it's already my C drive, so I may want to even copy it out from the folder where it is, so that I know exactly the one I'm running. So I'll navigate back to my C drive and then to my PBS folder. Okay, where is it? To my C drive, migration folder, and then my PBS folder, and I'll copy this file. Good afternoon. So I'll copy this file back to a preferred location. I just want to drop it in my C drive. Okay, so I'll drop it here. Okay, alright, so it's right here. Okay, and then I'll need to edit the application. I'll need to edit the configuration file, so I'll navigate to where I have the application and properties in that folder and do that editing. Alright, so I'll double click on this to open the folder, go to my config folder, and here is the application we are talking about. Double click on it and open with a notepad, so I can edit this. So basically what I just need to edit is the username, because my username is not OpenMRS but roots. So once I change it to roots and I click on file and I save, I'm good to go. I can just close this. We are done with that configuration at that instance, so I'll go back to my C drive. Alright, so next is to run a command prompt from the NMRS biometric deploy path and execute this query to run or install the biometrics. So I'll go down to my C drive, okay, go to the NMRS deploy path, yeah, and then type cmd to this, enter. It takes me down here, and then I run NMRS NMRS bio.exe install, and then I click enter. Once I click enter, and then you see the feedback service NMRS biometric services, that the service has been installed successfully, meaning we've been able to install our biometrics services successfully on the machine, and we are good to go with biometrics. So at this point we are done with the setup for biometrics, and in the previous video, if you could recall, we were done with the setup for the machine for NMRS running, for the NMRS smooth run. So with this, this should be the end of the second session of this NMRS setup on a Windows machine. Let's await for the new updates that will be coming subsequently in a short while. Thank you for being part of this, and we'll meet in a couple of days.